Forget about everything going on. Today, we're going to get you ready for next week. You're listening to the Master Your Lens podcast, episode 188.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, the founder and host of EO Fire, and welcome to the Master Your Lens podcast, the photography podcast dedicated to sharing inspiring stories, technical tips, and powerful secrets to help you become a better photographer. And now, your host, Matthew Jordan Smith.
Hello, Photography Nation. Welcome to the show. Here we are, January 13th, 2021. The start of the year has been a little crazy, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. You probably have a lot on your mind, and my job is to give you a break from all of that. You can turn on the TV or listen to the radio or any podcast, and you get a lot talking about what's going on in the world today. But that's not why I'm here. Not today. I want to give you a break from that. So instead, today, I want to get you ready for next week. Whether you're hearing this show today, January 13th, 2021, or anytime in the future, today's podcast is to get you ready for next week photographically. This is a photography podcast, so let's stick to that, regardless of what's going on around the world. Maybe you're in lockdown, maybe you're at home, so you can't shoot next week. Regardless of what's going on, when you can shoot, I want to get you ready for that week, whenever your next week gets here. But before we dive into that, I want to give a shout out to Ibarrio Nix, the host of the Candid Frame podcast. If you don't know about this podcast, definitely check it out. A few days ago, I did an interview with Ibarrio Nix on his podcast, The Candid Frame. And if you check out episode 547, you'll hear our conversation. We had a great discussion, and I believe you'll enjoy it. Again, that podcast is called The Candid Frame, and he's been doing this way longer than me. Now, let's get you ready for your next week. The next week when you are shooting, the next time when you're shooting, whenever that is. Have you ever gone on a shoot, got there, and then it hits you, I forgot this, or I wish I'd brought that. Something unexpected happens and you're caught off guard. Well, that can happen to all of us, unless you are prepared. And today, this is all about getting you prepared. One of the biggest aspects of a photo shoot is the pre-production part, you getting ready for your shoot. For a big shoot, that starts with a storyboard. The idea, what you're going to shoot, getting it out of your head, because if it's a big shoot, maybe you have more people involved versus just you and your subject. Maybe you have someone helping you. Maybe there's hair and makeup. Maybe you're shooting several people. And guess what? None of them can read your mind. It's always good when you have a storyboard. It's going to help you in a lot of ways. Number one, it's going to get the vision out of your head and put it in the tangible world so everybody gets it. Now, don't be afraid. Your storyboard can be anything you want it to be. It can be stick figures. It can be elaborate drawings. It can be pictures that you found online. Use anything to get your vision that's in your head out into the real world so people around you get your idea. Nobody can see your idea the way you do, so you need to get it out there in a way where they can get it. The storyboard is important for a few reasons. It helps you put your entire day together, and it helps you plan what you need for the shoot. I'll be the first to say, when I have not done a storyboard, I'll forget something super simple, like gaffer's tape. Now you may think that's not a big deal until you need it and there's no tape around. Or maybe it's a clamp, a super simple A-clamp. Something simple, but you forgot that one A-clamp, and that makes a big difference in you doing exactly what you want. Put your storyboard together. It's going to help you get your vision out of your head. Also, it's going to help you go through all the steps to make that picture come to life. You'll start seeing how many stands you need to have, or how many reflectors you need, or how many lights, or where the light will be on the left or the right, whether you'll have a big softbox, or a medium-sized softbox, or a beauty dish, or whatever. You getting the picture out of your head is just going to help you in your pre-production planning stage. And that's a big deal. Sometimes it can be the difference between making a successful photo shoot and just doing a photo shoot. The storyboard is key to your success. So work on that first. The next thing I want to talk about is the timeline. If you're doing an elaborate shoot, a timeline is essential. And this is good for you to do this practice also because you can break down the entire day. If you have a lot to do and a tight schedule, and today a lot of people are on a tight budget, but they want a lot. So you need to figure out, can you physically do everything that needs to be done in a certain amount of time? How do you know? Make a timeline of your day. Now, what does that look like? Let me break it down. The time you enter the studio is the time your timeline starts. If you're going to shoot in the studio, maybe you're shooting on location, wherever it is, whatever time you start your day, that's the first thing you write down. Let's say, for example, you're going to start your photo shoot at 8:30 in the morning. Will you arrive at 8:30? Or will you get there earlier to set up before people get there? Personally, I like to be there before anybody else gets there. So if I tell everybody in my crew, maybe there's a model, maybe there's hair and makeup, maybe there's an assistant. Let's say I tell everybody the start time is 8:30. What time should I get there? For me, I want to be there at least half an hour before everybody else. You need that time just to have that time of quiet to yourself. Well, I know I do. I need that time. And it makes a big difference because then I'm relaxed, composed. I've had my coffee or my tea or whatever, and I'm ready to meet everybody and start the day. The most important part of the day when it comes to your shoot is the morning. You are the one in charge, and you've got to crack the whip sometimes to get everybody else on the ball right away. If you lose time in the morning, you never get it back. So start where you're in charge. Get there before everybody else. And how do you plan that? You plan your timeline. If my start time is 8:30, I want to be there at 8 at least, so I can have that time that I need to be prepared to get the day going. Trust me, the morning is uber important. But let's say you're not shooting in the morning. Maybe you're starting your photo shoot at 12 noon or 3:30 in the afternoon. It doesn't matter what time you start. Get there before everyone else so you are set. Also, you want to make sure you're prepared to walk into any situation and have no surprises. So it's good for you to be there before everyone else. This has worked for me, and I think it will help you as well. So what's the next thing on your timeline once you write down your start time? I like to break down the entire part of the day. When they walk in at 8:30, will they go right to work? Usually not. I mean, we'd love that to happen, but people will get coffee. Maybe they'll sit up, put their coat away, or just get settled. And that time is about a 15-minute window. I write that time in on my timeline. So let's say, for example, I'm doing a photo shoot and I have a model and hair and makeup. If the call time is 8:30, I'll put down the start time for hair and makeup at 8:45. And I'll plan my time for the hair and the makeup. I'll put down, let's say, an hour for the hair and makeup, because that's typical. After that, I'll put down the time for wardrobe for the model to get dressed. Maybe that's another 15 minutes. I'll add that to the timeline. I also like to give a 15-minute cushion for the morning as well. And sometimes I'll work that into maybe extra time for hair and makeup. So maybe instead of an hour, it's an hour and 15 minutes. I like to err on the side of caution, just in case somebody comes 15 minutes late. Those things happen in the morning. Add that into your timeline. So as your day starts, you can win. While they're doing hair and makeup, I'm thinking about what I'm doing. And usually that's setting up, testing my lights, making sure everything's ready to go before the shoot. I'll go through the entire day this way, breaking down the shoot from the time they come in until the time we leave. Maybe I plan to do 10 shots in the day or 5 shots in the day. Whatever it is, I break down the time. How long will it take for me to set up? Is the set staying the same? Is the model changing clothes? Are we going from location to location? Is there driving involved? Is there walking involved? Will the makeup artist change makeup? Will the hairstylist change the hair? You get the idea. I go through the entire day, and this happens days before the shoot, maybe sometimes weeks before the shoot. This is a great practice for you to get into the habit of breaking down your entire shoot, minute by minute. This way, you have this timeline, you have a target, you have a goal for when you want to begin an image, start taking pictures, a time when you want to finish taking a picture and move to the next one. This will help you, especially when there's a lot to do in a day. Now, you can just wing it, but when you do that, sometimes things go long. It's better when you are prepared for your next week so you can win. Guess what else happens? This makes you look uber professional to everybody on set. And when you finish on time and you have all your images done that you plan to do, you're happy, the crew's happy, and you're on cloud 9 because you've accomplished what you planned to do. And this plan came together like clockwork because of your timeline. Okay, now it's time for you to get to work and plan your next shoot. Start at the beginning, put in time for breaks. For example, I'll put in a break for lunch. I'll put in a start time and an end time for lunch. And like the beginning of the day, I'll put in an extra 15 minutes for people to go to the restroom or get coffee or whatever. This also takes the stress away and gives everybody who's working with you a target to finish. If you get ahead of yourself, that feels good. If you get behind, you know you may have to speed up and do a faster job on the next part so you can end on time. Try this out. Trust me, it really helps in terms of you planning your shoot, putting it together, and then when you get to your shoot, when it's time to deliver, if you've never done a timeline, just give it a shot. Trust me, it's not that hard. You'll have a ball and you will make better pictures. You'll be less stressed. And when you're less stressed, you create your best work. Stay positive. If you're not in my free Facebook group, come and join us today. Photography Lighting Ninjas. we have something special that's about to happen just for the people inside my group. So if you're not a part, definitely come and join. It's a free Facebook group called Photography Lighting Ninjas. And very soon, I've got something special just for you, the members of Photography Lighting Ninjas. Okay, everyone, be safe out there. Dream big. We're going to get through all of this together. Trust me. Until next week. Again, always dream big. Keep your head up. Bye for now.